Yeah, so I like our new logo.
Ray here with Reef, along with my partner Derek Jordan. We're just going to give you a quick demonstration of us going to a customer's house, breaking one tank down, setting up another cylinder tank.
Yeah, this is something we're trying to do here in Colorado Springs, launching an online store as well. We're basically just a couple of hobbyists that really like doing this, so we want to figure out how to do it professionally.
For sure. Yeah, and we found that there's no one out there that's going to places, going to your house, your business, testing your water, making sure your coral's alive and whatnot. As you see me on the screen, I'm cleaning an acrylic tank with a Mr. Clean Pad. Right? There's specific videos out there, that get super in depth to the science and whatnot, but not much just for like, hey, how do you get coralline algae off of the fish tank?
And I would say one of those Mr. Clean Pads is like a reefing hack.
Oh yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, and until I found out about it, 6 months after owning an acrylic, tank, it was pretty scratched up. So I wish that's something I wish I had known sooner. So that's kind of the idea of doing this. We're just kind of filming it, learning how to do it ourselves. Obviously, they should get higher quality.
Yeah. So we're going to figure out this video production. This is going to be a great test for us. The guy you see walking in and out of the video in the black shirt, that's actually our customer, Christian Miller, who runs AugustineMagic.com. The guy is a legit warlock. He's a magician. Yes, I want to put up some of his magic videos on here just to get more word out about him, because the guy is like, forget everybody else. The guy is a magician
and an entertainer, true and through. Like I don't understand why he was one of the hardest working magicians in the country. He was doing like something like 400 shows a year or something like that. But
so what are you doing here?
Right here, I'm just draining the water into 4 different buckets. So the planning stage is the biggest thing for us, right? Because salt water is super duper corrosive. Destroys wood, it destroys concrete, it destroys anything, metal, right? Aluminum, doesn't matter, it's going to destroy it. So we're pouring them into 4 different buckets to try and salvage as much coral as we can, right? The cylinder tank where it was set up, his water change station's downstairs, and it just was too much trouble for him to carry, 10, 5-gallon buckets upstairs and change the water, or however many he used.
And so obviously you're taking out rock now.
Yeah.
Live seeded rock.
Yes, live seeded rock to set up another tank, right? So we just took that to our shop. We took the fish, the coral, to try and rehabilitate them, and they're actually doing very well now. And we're obviously, carrying a towel with us because we're cognizant of, just keeping the area clean in the customer's house, because again, that salt is bad. So this is us putting them in buckets. You can see that it's protected by a piece of carpet that we laid down, taking that to a trash can that's outside. And the water that's draining is actually, after we're done filling up the buckets, is going onto the side where it's a bunch of just gravel, right? We could have just laid it anywhere, but those beautiful furs were there, so we had to keep them relatively far away. He had some snails and stuff in there he didn't even know he had, right? I mean, he's just transporting live rock from one tank to this one, and there were some hitchhikers on there, and we'll probably have a video about hitchhikers later when we do the Mahano wand.
Yeah. Mahano wand. If you don't know what it is, you're going to find out. Yeah, it's amazing.
It is the pest destroyer extraordinaire, and other uses for it. We got a lot of plans for videos and whatnot. Now, these grabbers, these trash grabbers, make sure you get a good pair. These ones are made out of aluminum. They're really heavy duty. You can lift up to probably a 10, 15-pound rock. We did not anticipate how deep these 2 tanks were.
Yeah, cylinder tanks, unique challenge that we learned about. So we're gonna the water's almost drained now.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we got to remove that sand, which we'll show. And again, this is less informative than it is, or for you than it is for us right now, figuring out production quality and how to make good quality videos that you can actually learn from. But shop vacs are amazing for breaking down a tank.
Yeah, if you don't have a shop vac, and not even just for breaking down a tank, right? For that yearly maintenance when you're cleaning out your sump and it's just full of detritus and you got to get it out of there, because there is a tipping point where you have so much detritus in the bottom, gets past the filter sock, that you just have to get in there and clean it. You can use a turkey baster, but a shop vac is really, really helpful. So there are some shop vac mistakes that we did make a quick video for that's coming up here in a few. But as you can see, it's a family ordeal. I mean, the customer, Christian, who actually, you know, got me into the hobby long time ago.
Yeah, this is
You know,
an
he's hanging
example
out
of a
with me.
guy with a 30 years of reefing experience that
Mm-hmm.
wants to enjoy his tanks and doesn't want to have to work on them anymore. You know, it's a legitimate thing. We all enjoy this hobby in different ways, and he just wants a nice, clean tank that he can look at when he comes home. So he has us maintain it for him.
Yep. We actually set up an auto water change system for him too, so that he didn't have. He has like I think 1,000 gallons of water or something like that downstairs between 3 different tanks, which we'll send a video of too. It's really impressive. Um, I mean, he has literally a wall of tanks. I can't wait to post that. But and right about now is when you're going to see my little hiccup.
Read the instruction manual for the shop vac you're using before you use it.
It's been 10 years since I've had that instruction manual. That's not my fault.
It helps if it goes into the suck hole, not the blowhole.
The suck hole. We want to keep it G rated.
Yeah, so I turned it on and I was just blowing sand out like this. Um, but more on the shop vac, it also is super beneficial because it's acrylic, right? So you can start scooping and stuff, and I've done it. You're scooping it out and you go against a glass tank. You're not a big worry with a glass tank, but acrylic tanks, I mean, they scratch fairly easy. You know, plastic on plastic isn't going to scratch, but sand it's going to be like sandpaper. And here's just another demonstration of us just making sure the area that we're working in is super duper clean. Because the last thing you want is leave a piece of gravel, you move the tank stand right, and you just destroy this beautiful piece of hardwood. And we're trying not to do that. So here we're bringing in the base for the new tank stand, or excuse me, the base for the new cylinder tank, which I believe is 125 gallon. We're converting to fresh water for him. And the reason for that is obviously pouring in water from the tap, you know, if your water is soft enough, the hardness, we'll get into that later, is a lot easier than it is, you know, making salt water, lugging buckets, things like that.
Tanks
So,
in.
tanks in.
No children were harmed in the filming of this video. All child labor laws were followed to the T.
Now, as you notice, you're like, Ray, why are you stacking rock? What happens if it falls over? We don't have earthquakes here in Colorado, so it's not really a huge problem. And as you can see, I made sure there was counterweights on there, and it's all connected. This is my favorite part is reef scaping. So
Aquascaping.
aquascaping. So I put as many rocks on there to balance it, so they're all held at 3 different contact points, which is really important. He picked these fish up in Denver, and I'd say that's a successful transfer.
Yeah, I think so. And it's a beautiful freshwater tank, especially as it matures.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this is basically just an introduction to InsideReef.com.
Yep.
You know, again, Ray, Derek, we're local here in Colorado Springs. Sneak preview of things to come. We are very, very close being able to open up a retail location here in town, aquarium supply store. You know, we propagate and sell coral, tropical fish. I think that we're really, really good at caring for the coral and the fish, and we have some great methods in place that we'll explain in another video. Things that we want to do in the future, though, there's things that are even after all these years in the hobby, still hard to find information for online. You know, one of mine, I picked up a hitchhiker in this big tank here. I've been letting this hitchhiker grow for a while. It's a Mohano, and I got a Mohano one. You know, I've tried biological attacks on them. You know, predators introduced into the tank. So I want to do a video that's more informative than what I've seen online for this. So that's one of the ones coming up. Also, as you can see behind us, the coralline algae is growing very, very nicely on this acrylic tank. We're going to let it grow out a little bit longer and then show some easy ways to remove the coralline algae without harming the acrylic tank.
Well, yeah, there's nothing out there about it. Everyone just says use a credit card.
Yeah.
Well, if you got a 3-foot friggin' tank, it's a little bit difficult.
And
right?
if you have a 10-foot long tank, right?
Yep.
You know, if you have a 20-gallon nano or something like that, the methods that you find online super easy. But if you got 10 feet, you know, you probably don't want to invest a month into cleaning it, and then by the time you're at one end, the other end's already growing back. So
yeah, and you're never going to get away from coralline algae.
Everything it's beautiful. You don't want to.
Yeah.
I think it makes the rocks look amazing.
Yes, but if you are just, well, I'll just not put any bottles in there, you're going to get it if you have coral, folks. It's coming. So that's some of the future stuff that we have planned. We're super excited to be in business. We'll be glad to come to your house or place of business to actually test your water. We have a spin disc water link.
Very professional, water testing
water
equipment.
testing equipment. It does all your parameters in like 5 minutes, if that. We come out, we'll set up your dosers. We've done pretty much anything from
automatic
start to finish.
water changes,
Yeah.
monthly maintenance routines,
Quarterly maintenance,
semi-annual and annual maintenance routines. Which consistency is key in this hobby.
Yep.
And that helps us remain consistent. If you don't maintain that equipment over time, it's going to fail or it's going to diminish in its productivity.
Yeah.
Which is going to be translated to inconsistency in your display tank.
And that's the most important part of this hobby is consistency. If you don't have consistency, everything goes down the crapshoot.
So again, we're super excited. Ray Noriega, Derek Jordan, InsideReef.com. That gentleman that you just saw in that video was Christian Miller, AugustineMagic.com. I have seen this stuff in person. Absolutely worth checking out. Very entertaining. And honestly, a little scary.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great one.
Thank you.